Scoring approximately 0.6 goals per match means Neymar is likely to score 1 goal every 2 games. This already makes Neymar one of the best scorers in football. But is a statistic like this enough to define if Neymar is the generational soccer phenomenon that some claim he is? To answer this question, we will delve into Neymar's career by evaluating his performance across 5 key criteria: aptitude, toughness, headspace, longevity, and triumphs, scoring each on a scale from 0 to 10. Once we work through these, we can average out the scores to give Neymar a total athlete score out of 10 and place him on the Athletica scoreboard. Okay, let's kick off. First up, aptitude. Neymar has a lot of positional versatility on the football field, playing as a left winger, attacking midfielder, or even on occasion as a forward. This flexibility already implies that he is adept in his capability to handle the ball. As he is primarily an attacker, he has 2 main jobs: to score goals and to create opportunities for others on his team to score goals. This directly relates to 2 key metrics: goals and assists. Let's look at how his average goals per match stacks up against other footballers. From this, we can see that Neymar is in the upper range, that's for sure, but it's still actually quite a bit behind a few others. However, remember that this is only half of the picture. Let's look at the other half, his average assist ratio per game. In this element, he is very clearly one of the best. You can see that Neymar is a gun at creating opportunities for his teammates to score. That is probably why in this aspect he is very widely regarded as a magician when it comes to creating opportunities. Now, a lot of the capability to create these assist opportunities come very much from passing and dribbling. Dribbling is a key skill in football. When comparing the number of Neymar's successful dribbles per game to others, we can see that he is effectively one of the best dribblers ever. In short, his dribbling efficiency and chance creation remain elite. When we combine his goal scoring, excluding penalty goals, and assist capabilities, we see that Neymar is usually around 0.85 to 0.95 every 90 minutes. This means he is pretty much guaranteed to be involved in some way with 1 goal every 90 minutes, placing him consistently in the top 1% of attackers globally. Overall, he is actually statistically one of the most adept football players there is. Alright, so let's get a score for aptitude. Remember, there are heaps of other incredible stats and data crunch to get these scores, but I've saved you from the deep dive by sticking to the highlights. There are few players in history that match Neymar's mix of technical brilliance and the statistical end product, especially in the modern era with tighter defenses. So he scores a 9.5 here. Now on to toughness. Physically, at its absolute base level, football is very much about one key thing: running. And that is running in all its form. So short burst, medium speed, all the way up to high intensity burst speed. We have developed a running profile for Neymar based on statistics collected over his career, and we got the following. So when it comes to general running speed, endurance, and distance covered, Neymar is actually pretty much on average to below average. But when it comes specifically to sudden short burst speed and sprinting, this is where Neymar excels. He's usually sitting in the top 5% of players in these areas. So generally, overall, it's a bit of a mixed bag. So this is where things start to get interesting. Another statistic we can look at here is minutes played per season. High minutes over multiple seasons show durability, consistency, and resistance to fatigue and injury. A key benchmark that we are using here is that 3,000 plus minutes per season would be an elite level of durability, with an expectation of around 2,700 minutes for a key team player. Neymar averages around 2,400 minutes. This is not great. When it comes to Neymar, a lot of this has to do with availability rate, which reflects injury resilience and fitness reliability. Neymar has spent over 1,200 days injured, missing more than 150 matches in his career. This is not a good statistic. Look, I'm not trying to blame the guy for getting injured, but part of being a tough athlete is the ability to avoid injury through training, game awareness, and being resilient in trying to overcome injury as quick as possible and to get back to the game. Here are the number of other matches that other football players have missed. Neymar has a reputation for diving and theatrics, but this very reputation is probably what's causing the issue. At the end of the day, Neymar is fast, but that's probably about it. He doesn't really shine in any other element of toughness that we considered, and doesn't resonate with physical resilience when compared to almost all of his peers. He gets a 6.5 here. Alright, time to move on to headspace. Sport is a lot of things, and one of those things is discipline, which in the heat of the moment can really put a player's mental control in the frame. One way to check headspace is to look at a player's card history. So how many warnings, yellow and red cards does a player get? In football, a yellow card acts as a sort of warning, but in some ways, aggressive and tough players often flirt with the line. Balance is key. It's not always positive, but controlled aggression is often a sign of mental resilience. A red card, however, is a big sign that a player just can't keep it cool. Neymar has had 12 red cards in his career. Let's compare this to others. Look, he's not alone in disciplinary issues, but his behavior takes a toll on his performance. Now, another big part of headspace is performance in clutch moments. Despite Neymar's unpredictability, he actually also shines in high-pressure moments. If we take a quick look, for example, at some key clutch moments, we can see that he has a conversion rate of 83% in penalties. His total goals and assists after the 75th minute mark sit at approximately 60, which is one of the best among active attackers currently. He scored or assisted in nearly 80% of knockout stage games he played for in club and country, and wins finals at a rate of 8 out of 10 times. Overall, mentally, we've found Neymar to be a paradox. On one hand, he's carried Brazil on his back, taking decisive penalties and really taking control in pressure moments. On the other, his temper, suspensions, and on-field noise raises questions. At the end of the day, he gets a 7 out of 10 here. On to longevity. Debuting at 17 years old, Neymar has been playing for well over a decade. Now the question is, has he managed to maintain a consistent effort across the years? Let's look at his total goals scored every year. So overall, he started off incredibly strong, then kind of maintained his capability, then he was a bit all over the place, and then he just fell off completely. We also developed an overall composite score for Neymar out of 100 for every year he has played, looking at a range of statistics, and got the following results. Overall, he was very impressive, and he was able to maintain that consistency for a while, but ultimately, he wasn't really able to keep it up for the rest of his career. I mean, he is 32 now, but there are lots of players currently and in the past that were older than him and still scoring goals relatively consistently through their career, and even in some cases getting better in their later years. Neymar is not spectacular here, but he's also not bad, so he scores a 7.5. Finally, triumphs. Neymar's trophy case is definitely not short of achievements and accolades. Some of his key achievements include winning the UEFA Champions League, winning an Olympic gold medal, surpassing Pelé to become Brazil's all-time leading goal scorer, which in a lot of respects is a legendary achievement, being the Copa Libertadores champion, and having over 43 career trophies won across club and country. Look, Neymar's trophy cabinet is stacked, but he's missing that World Cup and Ballon d'Or that often define the greats. He led Brazil admirably, but the ultimate prizes have always slipped through, and to be honest, every day, it's looking more and more like he has missed his opportunity to ever win these. He gets a solid 7.5 here. So is Neymar a generational genius or a missed opportunity? Neymar's raw skill is nothing short of breathtaking. His touch, flair, and creativity rank among the finest the game has ever seen. At his peak, there was a genuine argument that Neymar was on the course to become one of the top 10 players of all time, perhaps even break into the top 5. He definitely came onto the scene as a generational talent, but that's where the story shifts. After reaching those heights, things slowly unraveled. He remains one of the most gifted players to have ever touched a football, but in many ways, Neymar is the prince who never quite became a king, so ultimately, a missed opportunity. With all elements considered, Neymar's final athlete score is 7.6, which places him here on the Athletica scoreboard. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to kick that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell notification so we can keep scoring athletes. Thanks for watching, team. Catch you at the next one.